Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we will see about the CAPEX and OPEX. Are you confusing about the CAPEX and OPEX, wondering why the business treat them differently? In this video, we will break down into a very simple terms with the help of examples so you will never mix them again. CAPEX. CAPEX stands for the capital expenditure. These are long-term investment a company makes to acquire and upgrade the physical asset. For example, land, building, machinery, IT infrastructure. Think of a money spent or a buying something that remains for a longer period of time, last for the years. For example, if the company is having a land and it want to expand its sheds or warehouse increment, then they are building the infrastructure, then it comes under the capital expenditure. Now, example of the CAPEX: buying a new CNC machines, building a new warehouses, installing a solar panel systems, expanding the production line. So these are all comes under the capex. These are usually the high cost item and they get into the balance sheet and depreciate over the time. That is, whenever you are buying any capex item, that it will go into your balance sheet and it will depreciate over the time. OPEX. OPEX stands for the operating expenditure. These are a everyday cost a company incurred to run it very smoothly and seamlessly, basically. So in the company, the OPEX is the necessary items that we are having a requirement or services to run the business smoothly and operation smoothly. Now, these are the recurring and short term in nature, whereas the capex is a long term in nature, whereas the opex is a short term in nature. Example of the opex: salary and the wages, rental, bills, maintenance costs, software subscription, raw material that you're using. Capex, apart from that, which is called as your MRO. As you can see that the in capex we also procure the items for the that includes under the MRO, like your bearing structure, but it is for a longer run. You're expanding the system, then you procure in that particular case, whereas in opex it is for the daily activities. Now these expenses are fully deducted in the same financial year and from the income statement. That is, we are talking about the full financial year. This opex come into the picture for a particular year's financial year. Now we will see further and just have a gist of it. Feature: capex versus opex. Capex is basically a long-term investment, and OPEX is day-to-day incur activities or operations. Accounting: capitalized and depreciating in nature. Basically, OPEX is long-term approach, not it's a short-term approach. So full expense in the same years. If you are doing the full expense in the same year, then it comes under the OPEX category. Now, frequency: one time or occasional. These are the regular or recurring. Now, example of this is a buying a machine or paying the machine operator. One thing more: if you are doing the capex in a well manner, if you are procuring a machine with a long term approach and total cost of ownership should be less, then your capital expenditure will be high, but your operation expenditure will be less, since the breakdown will be less. Apart from that, the total cost of ownership gets reduces, servicing will be high, so you don't have to do much investment in the opex activities. Capex build your capability, opex make your business running. That is, both are essential. Whenever you have to make a business, then the capex comes into the existence, since it makes your capability, whereas the opex keeps your business running. Both are essential, but they are different, treatly different, absolutely, because in accounting and budgeting. Now, understanding the capex and opex will help you to plan the budget, make the different investment decision even in a tax slab. For businesses, the managing the right balance between these two can improve the cash flow and drive the growth. Since in any organization, the cash flow and the growths are very urgent. Do you want to work in a basically you are working if in a manufacturing company, FMCG, IT, or you get confused between the OPEX and CAPEX? Because generally I will now cover these example from our real world example. Now you can see that the capital expenditure, as we see about the long term approach and all those things that we have covered. Investing in a future. So short term, you consider the investing in the future is the CAPEX. So real world example, in automobile company, just like a Tata Motors, setting up a new assembly line, buying a new robotic welding machines is a capex. Now in FMCG company like a Hindustan Unilever, building a new facilities or manufacturing of the soap is comes under the capex. Now in power plant, installing a new turbine or a solar panel is the capex. IT company, purchasing the servers or setting up a new data center considered as the capex. Whereas in IT, you can see that that particular a data center and a server is not a opex part, but in IT sector, if you are purchasing a new server, then it comes under the capex. So these assets are recorded in the balance sheet and they depreciate over a full lifetime cycle. Now, operation expenditure. Operating expenditure is a money invest for the daily operation that are recurring in nature. So these are short-term recurring expenses, and they directly get into the profit and loss because they comes under the balance sheet. Now, real-world example: textile manufacturing company paying the electricity bill, water bill, maintenance of the high operations. So all these things. In automobile plant, expense on a painting booth chemical, preventing the maintenance of a robotic arm are the OPEX. Basically, if you're doing the painting of these robot and maintaining of the robots, then it comes under the OPEX category. IT companies like Infosys and Wipro, monthly software subscription like the SAP, AWS, Zoom. So employee salaries also comes under the OPEX. In e-commerce companies like your Moglix, Amazon, Flipkart, and many others. So fuel for delivery, the vehicle and internet services are the expenses. In e-commerce company like your Zepto, so delivering through the vehicle, they are delivering the material through the vehicle. Then it comes under the OPEX activities and your internet server. This is also part. Now features nature, long-term investment, daily operation, frequency, one-time, recurring, capitalized, depreciation, expense immediate, impact, improve the capacity and productivity. Now, basically, this is very important. How does the capex impact our system? Capex impact our capacity and the productivity, whereas the opex keeps our business running smoothly. Example: buying an injection mold machine, paying the salary to the operator. These two you can see. Now, to simplify, if you are building or buying, if you are building or buying something, then it comes under the capex, and if you are maintaining or recurring or operating, then it comes under the opex. Knowing the difference between the capex and a capex in budgeting, planning, tax planning, financial planning, so it's a critical to evaluate the cost of a project. So we have seen these example, and if you find this video is helpful for you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel, and if it is very useful to you, please give us your thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Nikhil Mittal signing off.